Wow. I don't even know how to do the intro to this. Okay.
It was amazing.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. I can't even talk right now because we just got back home from watching Deadpool and Wolverine. And holy crap. I can't even... I'm still processing everything that I just saw.
Yeah.
I'm still in the feels of what I just saw. And before I continue, this first part, we're not going to spoil anything. This is going to be a non-spoiler for a couple moments here. And then I'll
not
put it
very long because it's a lot.
I'll put the marker in the video for anyone that hasn't seen the movie yet or can't see it for a while. So from here to that point, it's going to be non-spoilers. So the non-spoiler version. This movie was great.
Longer than I expected and not what I expected at all. Honestly, the whole movie was not what I expected. But in a good way, like it was still good. Of course, it was a good movie, but it just, everything was like...
Yeah, this movie was great. This movie was so good. This is the best MCU movie, in my opinion, that I've experienced since Infinity War, Endgame, and No Way Home. I haven't had this same feeling that I had when I watched those movies for a movie in a long time. Not just an MCU movie either, but just any movie in general. I haven't had this excitement leading, this feeling of satisfaction, but also dissatisfaction because I wanted more. And it's just like Lula said, like this movie was, a lot of people are saying the same thing, but it's true. This movie was like everything I wasn't expecting and everything that I was expecting all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't what I wanted to see, but it was what I needed to see. And I'm not gonna spoil anything. There was one point where I stood up on my seat in the theater. I stood up. Like I didn't stand up off my seat. I got up on the seat and my feet were planted on top of the seat. And I was screaming because I was not expecting to see what I saw.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. After that point, I couldn't focus on the rest of the movie because I was still processing
what just happened. And I kept turning to my wife. I kept turning to my boys next to me. I was like, yo, I can't believe what I just saw. I can't believe this is happening right now. Yeah.
And it was so...
unexpected. And we didn't know that we needed it or that we even wanted it. But it's one of those things that I don't want to say made the movie, but it just...
No, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Because it was great. It was great. It's like you go in there expecting to see Deadpool and Wolverine, and we got Deadpool, we got Wolverine. We got what we were expecting from them. But then when the surprises start rolling in, oh my God, it made the movie because it was just like, holy crap. Like I completely, you know what? You know when I had this feeling? When Civil War first came out, Captain America Civil War, it was a Captain America movie. Mm-hmm. But we had been anticipating the next Avengers movie, mm-hmm. right? But in the middle of Civil War, I forgot that it was a Captain America movie.
Yeah, it felt like an Avengers movie.
It felt like an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt with this film. Like, I forgot this was Deadpool and Wolverine at one point. Mm-hmm. And it was so much fun. It was so unexpected. And it just left me speechless after a while.
Yeah.
Because you just couldn't believe it was so surreal what was happening. So, the plot itself was interesting. Like every movie, there's one or two things here that we're like, but how? How did that work out? But the thing about this movie is that you're so caught up with what's going on that you just don't care until it's over. Like, I was questioning some things here and there. It's a lot, bro. It's like 2 hours. I mean, I knew the movie was going to be 2 hours, and, you know, every film has its slow moments. Mm-hmm. But it's like, this was like a small intermission, and it's towards the beginning of the movie where it slows down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of it is just like, oh my God, it's just nonstop. One of the reviewers that we follow said that it felt like a comic, like you're reading a comic book. Mm-hmm. Like that's exactly how the movie felt. The movie felt like everything was happening so quickly.
Yeah.
But it was well done. Like the timing, that's what I wanted to say earlier. The pace of this movie was so good. It was almost perfect. It wasn't perfect, but it was almost perfect, because it was good steady pacing, good steady pacing, good steady pacing, good steady pacing. And then like when you're listening to an album, or like, I don't know, well, back in my day when we used to listen to any kind of album, they would have like skits in between songs, and those skits didn't take away from the experience. They had to do with the music on the album, and it would continue. That's how this felt. Like, it felt like I was watching an album just come to life, and it felt like the comic book was just right in our face, and every time you turned the page it was just something different and something new, but it was at a good pace. Like, you were actually experiencing a live action comic book. And that's what a lot of fans are saying about this movie, is that it felt so rich in that comic book vibe, and it was definitely faithful to the comics. It was definitely faithful to the lore. There was one scene at the beginning of the movie where I was like, they were already starting to jump back and forth between like searching for things or whatever, and I was already like pointing at the screen like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it wasn't even like, how can I put this, it wasn't even like major parts. It was necessary to the storytelling, but it was just so, it was like little mozzarella bites. It's little appetizers.
Okay, because we're not doing spoilers, I'm not sure what you're referring to, and I wish.
I can't say it. We'll talk about it later in the spoiler. But anyway,
I'm ready to spoil.
Yeah, she can't do this, so that's why I'm doing most of the talking right now, because
Yeah.
she can't do the non-spoiler. But for the non-spoiler review, the movie's fantastic. I give it a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect. There were some things where I was like, you know, like I'm saying, like when I think, when I replay it in my head and I think about the plot, I'm like, all right, this.
I question everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like it made you question, and you're like, all right, well, why this and that? But it was just so good. It's like I don't even care. Like it was that good, and it was fun. It was exciting. It was emotional. I can see how people were getting very emotional, because this movie really was a homage to the 20th Century Fox Marvel movies that we got back in the day before the MCU was even a thing. It was a great dedication to them. It was a great dedication to the legacy that they left, and the fact that because of those movies, that's why we're here where we are now. Whether people want to believe it or not, that's why we're here where we are now. And that's why superhero movies are even a thing. And there's fan base for it now, you know? And it's because of that we're here now. And it was just a great dedication. It was a great homage. What were you going to say?
I forgot.
Okay. So that's it for our non-spoiler review. So let's get into the spoiler review. Alrighty. So if you're not into spoilers and you don't want to watch this, I would suggest you just leave our channel now. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you for joining. And now on to the spoilers. Alrighty. Let's get a little comfortable here. Now feel free. Go ahead. You want to go first? You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
First.
I talk too much.
Okay, first of all, the NSYNC. That first intro, I loved. I feel like all the songs were like, I was distracted by all the fighting, all the fight scenes because of the songs, in a good way, because I was just like dancing and jamming and I was singing along and I loved it. So that's what I was gonna say earlier. Even though this movie was violent, like all the Deadpool movies, I feel like it wasn't as violent, unless I was just really that distracted by the music, because I loved it. I am so glad that I did not see any or hear any spoilers about them singing that NSYNC song or him doing the dance, because I loved every moment of it. I'm glad that he thought, I don't know if it was like, because he mentioned Gen Z in the movie, but I feel like that was for us millennials, because, you know, obviously it hit home. It brought us back. There were a lot of songs, like even when, what was the Grease song? I loved
I wasn't
it.
expecting that either.
I loved it so much. And
they were fighting in the car.
Yeah, and it just, again, it took away from, to me, I wasn't even really paying attention to the fighting, but it was epic. I wasn't expecting that much fighting in the car too, so that was pretty cool.
Oh my god, it just hit me that I said earlier that it was like watching an album. But it was because it's the music. The music, it was literally track after track. Every scene
I was gonna
had
chime
like
in on
another
that.
song. that was playing, and it was so good, but it was so well choreographed. I'm a stickler for good timing and choreography. The pace of this movie was so good. The introduction got you hype, and then it slowed down a little bit, and then it picked back up again, and then the music was hilarious. She was distracted by the music.
Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah, Henry. Oh, okay. So that's what I was talking about earlier. That you didn't know what I was talking about. I was getting excited already immediately because when Deadpool was going around looking for the Wolverine that he's looking for, and he's seeing all these different versions of Wolverine. There were so many comic book Wolverines in this movie, man, and it was great to see the fact that they did what they did to us in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness when they gave us John Krasinski as Reed Richards, and then in this movie they gave us Henry Cavill as Logan. Was fantastic. And who else but Ryan Reynolds to pull that off and give that to us? And that was freaking great, just seeing that happen. And then, but yo, when I can't even look, there was so
Chris
much
Evans.
more. Oh, Chris Evans, thank you, because I was about to jump to the next part that I wanted to jump to, but thank you for that. But yo, Chris Evans popping up as the Human Torch and throwing us off, making us think that it was Captain America.
Because of the arm. I looked at the arm and I'm like, oh my God, it's Captain. Even before he took off the hoodie, I was like, oh my God, it's Captain America. I was so excited. And the fact that Deadpool was like, oh, he's going to curse. Oh my God, it was just so perfect the way they
set us up to make us think that it was Captain America. And even the music, if you listen to the music, they were kind of like hinting at that theme song. But then when he said flame on, that was the first time the theater erupted. Like we were all like, oh! Yeah. And it was just unexpected because we try very hard not to see any spoilers or leaks online. So we did good this time around, avoiding any spoilers. So we didn't know.
Deleted Facebook and Instagram and everything.
Yeah, we didn't know. So that was super fun. And seeing all the original villains from the X-Men movies pop up afterwards, seeing and they had such good, like, they had their time to shine, bro. Like a lot of them didn't, but
even for a couple minutes, like it was enough.
Still good. It was still good, man. And Pyro got his time to shine too. I didn't think he was gonna have that much dialogue in this movie, to be honest. And it was just so good. It was so good the way it led up to the TVA, the way it led up to them being pruned and being sent out there because they threatened Paradox. Because I was wondering how they were gonna end up there. So that was a smart way to do it. Cassandra Nova was amazing. The way they threw little tidbits here and there to let you know who she was for people that don't follow the comic books. They did really well in pointing out the facts of like, my name is Cassandra Nova. I'm Xavier's twin sister. Blah 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 blah. I did this. I did that. It was enough for you to be like, okay, this is who this character is, without having to go in too deep and take up too much time of the movie. And after that, them going into like escaping and bumping in to the them having the fight in the middle of the forest, right? Passing out in the middle of the fight and then being caught by the people that I'm about to mention now. Yo, I said it earlier in the non-spoiler. I got on my chair and I'm telling you, man, my feet were not planted on the floor. My feet were on top of the movie theater seat. I think I was on the armrest.
Blocking whoever was behind you.
Yeah, I felt bad for whoever was behind me, but the entire theater erupted.
Yeah.
When Wesley Snipes walked in as Blade, yo, I lost my freaking mind. I was not expecting
at all.
I didn't see that coming.
No.
At all. In a million years, I would have never imagined that he would agree to be in this movie. When Elektra walked in, I was even excited for her, mind you.
Yeah.
And this is just my personal thing. I didn't care about the Elektra movie. It was fun, but back then the superhero movies were still like up and coming. It was like whatever. That was one of the more mid movies for me, but it was still good. But yo, when he walked in, I lost my damn mind. And when my favorite X-Men character finally made it to the screen as the rumored Channing Tatum,
it was so funny.
Or rather, Channing Tatum as Gambit. I couldn't focus on the rest of the film after that. I couldn't. I was so overwhelmed by seeing Wesley Snipes and Channing Tatum on the screen as the characters that I wanted them to be as. Wesley Snipes back as Blade. Channing Tatum
and
first
saying he's the only Blade.
Yeah, Channing Tatum as the first time on screen as Gambit, and then later Blade throwing that out. I'm the only Blade. I'm the only Blade there ever be, or whatever. And Deadpool looking at us in the screen like, bro, he's coming back. Like he's coming. Like I want to believe with all my soul that Wesley Snipes is coming back as Blade later.
I would be so excited.
But we'll see. I mean, if he doesn't, this was a really perfect, beautiful way to send them off. Because it's like they said in the movie, like they didn't get their endings. So they got their endings in this movie. And I love the fact that they didn't show Elias swallowing them. They only showed Elias going after Wolverine and Deadpool when they jumped through the
ring.
Yeah, I forgot what the name of it is. The portal.
Yeah.
When they jumped through the portal, the sling ring portal, and they only showed him going after them. And then at the end, again, we see, I'm jumping everywhere because I can't even gather my thoughts right now. But at the end, we do see X-23 back because with the TVA fixed all that or whatever.
Yeah.
That insinuates that they're still alive. They're still, well, for me it does. They're still alive. They're still there. So we might see them come back. We might not. And if we don't, this was perfect.
But again, what I was telling him earlier is I'm not sure because in the credits we see, I felt like it was like a goodbye to them, a goodbye to the X-Men, to Wolverine.
She's talking about the credits while they were rolling and showing all the footage for back in the day.
Yeah, when they were showing the footage of the behind the scenes and stuff like that, I felt like it was even though what's her name? BB-8, what's her name?
B-15.
B-15. BB-8.
BB-8 is the ball.
I know, but that's who I always think about. When she's like, oh, I feel like this is just the beginning for you guys. So that's insinuating that, they're going to come back together. But when the credits were rolling, I'm like, I feel like this is a goodbye, like a special tribute to them, especially to Wolverine and to the X-Men.
I took it as a tribute, but not as a goodbye. I took it as a tribute, as a homage. Like, they're the reason why we're here, So I don't think it's over, but maybe it is. Wolverine himself said, I don't think Wolverine's coming. I think this is actually Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to come back again. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe it's a lie to throw us off. But I think this is actually the definitive. It's over for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And in the future, there's going to be another actor. Kevin Feige already confirmed that at San Diego Comic-Con and the interviews and all this stuff. So we'll see how true that is or not.
You know what I think was really cute? When they were fighting to see who's going to go in to like sacrifice themselves. And Deadpool said, I waited years for this. I love you. Whatever he said. And I'm like, he really meant that, like, as his friend, like a real life, as Ryan
Reynolds to Hugh Jackman. But also when he said, "You're the best Wolverine." Yeah, there's no other one, bro. Hugh Jackman was born to play this role.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds was born to play this role.
Yes.
Tom Hiddleston was born to play Loki.
Yes. Chris Evans was born to play Captain America. He will always be my Captain America.
For real, like it's just these actors, everyone that was picked for these roles were perfect. Yeah. And it started with Hugh Jackman. It started with Sir Patrick Stewart as Xavier. It started with Halle Berry as Storm. It started with all these people from back in the day. Like they are forever embedded and imprinted in our brains and our hearts as these characters. No one else can replace them ever. And the fact that we did go into a multiverse saga, which even though it didn't work out, which by the way, I loved all the jabs that Ryan Reynolds was taking at the multiverse saga. It was fantastic to see that he was aware of of us. Yeah. Like he's just really just one of us that just got to play the part of Deadpool. And just took it out there because he's really thinking about us. He's really thinking about the fans, the people that either read the comics or just love the movies and all this stuff and follow the continuity. He's thinking about all these things, and that's why this movie is amazing. That's why this movie's so good. But yeah, these actors are just born for all this. And Hugh Jackman's always going to be Wolverine for us, no matter who replaces him now. And like, that's what I was trying to say. Sorry. But it's good that we went into this whole multiverse thing because now it's easier to accept another actor playing Wolverine. It's easier to accept someone else replacing, I don't know, Iron Man later in the future. It's easier to accept someone replacing Captain America.
That's true.
It's going to be hard for some, but it's easier now because of the multiverse idea, because of the multiverse saga and storyline, and the fact that they did bring in the TVA. The TVA is the grand central station to literally doing anything we want to do in these movies now. And for the writers to do anything they want to do in these movies. I was expecting
more of the TVA.
I was expecting more of the TVA too. I was expecting more involvement, but I'm glad that they didn't. This movie to me would have been a perfect 10 if somehow Loki would have shown up, and like not even for an action sequence, but just to kind of like give Deadpool like wisdom, or give even Wolverine wisdom or something. That would have been amazing. That would have been perfect. But at the same time,
he's stuck.
Yeah, and it's good that it didn't happen, because I think it would have been overwhelming, and it would have been, I don't know, it would have just taken, I think it just would have been too much at the same time. But I was hoping for it. I really was. I was hoping for it to happen. So it was cool to see the spaghettification of the timeline again. It was cool to see the colors of the TVA. It was cool. It was cool that Paradox was a villain in a sense, and he wasn't really caring. He was just selfish. It was awesome to see that. It was a good twist. I love the fact that the Deadpool core was Cassandra Nova's trump card to be protected against Deadpool and Wolverine, and that they had to fight all those different Deadpool. I wasn't expecting that. I thought that they were going to team up with them. Yeah. I didn't know that they were coming up against them. So that was freaking awesome.
So I knew that Blake Lively was Lady Deadpool. That was really like the only spoiler for me. There were rumors about it from before, and then unfortunately before I deleted I didn't delete the Instagram, but I took the app off my phone. Before I did that, I saw that she was wearing a similar outfit on the red carpet, and I'm like, oh, that confirms it. Okay. But for the hype, for all this talk about it, they didn't really do much with the character. They didn't even show that it was her. I was expecting more. I thought maybe even they would end up together or something, or at least show her face. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't show any kind of romance.
Yeah.
I was expecting that too.
I was expecting a little more. It was just so quick and just so.
But I was actually okay with that. I had a feeling anyway when they all showed up at the end. I was like, oh, this is gonna be quick. This isn't gonna be like they're gonna continue on. Besides the fact that this was at the end, and this movie's.
It was very long.
No, it wasn't. The movie's 2 hours long, 2 hours and 8. Like. I can do 3-hour movies, okay? I come from the Titanic generation. I come from the Independence Day generation. I come from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Those movies were long, especially the uncut versions. These movies are nothing in length compared to theirs.
It's true.
It's just that there was so much happening in this movie within 2 hours. There was only one moment of rest, and everything else was just, again, back on the roller coaster, and it didn't slow down. Maybe like a little slow turn here and there, but nothing like that first part where there was like a real moment of okay, the scene in because you guys have seen it in the trailer, the scene where they're at the restaurant talking in the middle of the void. That was the slowdown time.
Like in the diner.
Yeah, that was the slowdown time. After that, there were a couple other slow moments, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was just. Oh my God! It was just the shock of everything that was happening. That's what made time go by fast for me, at least. Anyway, point is, that was great. It was everything that I wasn't expecting. It was a whole lot that I wasn't expecting, actually. It was everything that I was expecting. It was a lot that I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah.
It was just, I'm happy. I'm really happy. It's like...
Peter.
Oh, bro.
I love that they brought him back, and he was such a special character to all the best Deadpool.
Peter was the best Deadpool.
Yeah.
The fact that they all respected him and loved him,
that was so awesome.
And that every universe has a Peter, and they all,
when he was the only X-Force member that didn't die,
didn't have a power.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, I just thought it would be fun to join.
And the fact that Peter wasn't their Peter, but they just love all the Peters everywhere. They just accepted him. That was amazing.
Yeah.
There was just so many heartwarming, satisfying moments in this movie. Everything was satisfying.
Yeah.
Except was the plot. I just didn't get how Wolverine being an anchor from Wolverine from Logan was the anchor for Deadpool's world. So how did bringing Wolverine from another universe become the anchor? Like, how did they replace it? But even B-15 said, whatever you guys did, fixed it. So they didn't really explain that. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to explain it later. Somehow, even though we think this is the end for him, but somehow...
Hopefully they do explain that. Hopefully we get clarity on that, and it's not just another loophole. But even if it is...
The power of friendship.
Even if it is... It was just great. It was just, I'm happy. We're happy. The fan base is happy. The MCU and Disney, man. Disney better realize what they've been doing. The fact that there's a movie out under your name now, making fun of you and everything that you've been doing since Endgame, and that you've been messing up on, because you've been messing up everything for the fan base. Like, there's literally fans that have left, and they're disappointed in what you've done to the fans, and they're hurt. Like, a lot of us, like, we're not gonna cry about it. We're disappointed, but there's literally people out there that are hurt, like, emotionally, and you've done this to them, and they're very unhappy with what you've done with Phase 4.
The best thing was Loki.
The best thing that came out of Phase 4 was Loki. WandaVision was great.
Loki and Moon Knight.
Moon Knight was great. I loved Werewolf by Night. I love Werewolf by Night, and I hope that goes somewhere. There's been a lot of other shows that have been good too. We haven't seen Echo yet because of life and parenthood and all that. We're gonna watch that. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that. Unfortunately, we haven't seen X-Men 97. That's apparently been strong too.
Yeah.
But Guardians of the Galaxy, the last one, was fantastic. That was great. But James Gunn doesn't disappoint, and it's because he did it the way he wanted to do it. You couldn't hold him back. Loki, phenomenal. That wasn't held back.
Yeah.
Just learn, yo. Just learn. Like, this is what the fans want. You know, throw in whatever you want to throw in there at the end of the day. Whatever other little things you want to throw in there. I won't say much. If you want to throw it in there, throw it in there. But follow the formula. There's a formula.
Follow the formula.
Because
obviously we see it worked.
It worked, exactly.
Yeah.
She took the words right out of my mouth. It worked. And Ryan Reynolds proved that.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman proved that. This movie proved that.
Yeah.
And we just saw on the way home tonight, we just saw at SDCC that they revealed the new name for the Avengers movie, Doomsday and Secret Wars. And our man RDJ is back as Infamous Iron Man, as Victor Von Doom, aka Tony Stark. Yo,
that's so
and supposedly the rumor is also has supposedly been confirmed that the Russo brothers are coming back to film these films. Bro, like, they had to go back. They had to go back to their original chefs for this, bro. Like, let them cook, because we don't want anything else. It was fine the way it was. It was good. That was just the beginning, and then it got ruined. So hopefully this is it. Hopefully, you know, we'll come back. But even after this movie, I'm still reserving my optimism, and I'm still reserving my excitement, because I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen now, because we've been here before, where we've been happy and disappointed, happy and disappointed, happy and disappointed, happy. Like, the MCU's dead, the MCU's back. The MCU's dead, the MCU's back.
But like, we can always count on Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds to make it better again, because all his movies were always good. They were always,
and hopefully he doesn't, bend at the knee and.
I think before he does that, he'll pull the plug.
Probably.
I don't think he's willing to do that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Well, there goes our long rant. That movie was freaking great. I'm happy. I'm gonna watch it a couple more times, man. That again, I haven't felt this way since Infinity War, Endgame, and No Way Home. I haven't had this satisfying, happy feeling of like, man, that was so good. Like, they brought the MCU magic back. And we'll see. We'll see if they can keep up with this. We'll see if they'll. Like my wife said, like Lula said, if they try to put reins on Ryan Reynolds to control the situation, I hope he pulls the plug and he drops out. And if it happens again, I might just call it quits and just not care about any of this stuff anymore, and just see where it goes and just take it in stride. But all right, y'all.
Now I'm gonna go to sleep with "Bye Bye Bye" playing in my head. Just
the fact that he was doing the choreography,
I loved it so much.
Good.
Yeah.
It was just one of us dressed up as Ryan Reynolds. I mean, wow, Ryan Reynolds dressed up as Deadpool. That's how much Ryan Reynolds has become Deadpool. Then I refer to him as Ryan Reynolds. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Leave your comments down below. Tell us what you think. Yes. We're not comic book nerds. We're not comic book professionals. We just love the MCU. We love the movies. If there's anything we said that was a little off, forgive us. Please have mercy on us in grace. But thank you for watching. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Bye. Bye, bye, bye.